Hey, I'm Aldyn, and welcome to my channel, Art and Intuition with Aldyn Elizabeth. That is me, and today I wanted to bring up a topic that I work with a lot of my clients on, which is working through creative blocks. I think it's like, kind of something that every creative person has experienced at one time or another, and whether you're writing or painting or doing music or what have you, what is a creative block and how can you work through it and how long do they last? So a creative block is just anything that's blocking your natural creative flow. It doesn't mean you should be constantly painting necessarily, maybe only paint once a year. But like if there's something that just feels like you're being blocked from expressing that, and if you're into like energy stuff and the chakra system, like a lot of your creativity is in your lower chakras according to like what each of those represents. So that color is orange. It's your sacral chakra, and that's also a sensual chakra, so your senses, what does that mean? It's like how you experience the material world in a lot of ways and the pleasure of that. So if you're like blocking yourself, or maybe you're even like experiencing too much of that in one way or another, could be something real simple like food. Romance is a very positive thing, but also like if there's just something out of balance there, you're having a heartbreak, of course that can affect your creativity. Kind of goes without saying anyway, but it just goes to show how those things are both related. And then also like your intuition, just like my personal business, art and intuition, because I think they really go together and they flow together so well. And for me, art is a very intuitive process. Of course, there's other aspects of it than just the intuitive part, but that's what I enjoy. One of the things I enjoy most about art is like intuitively picking out colors and figuring out what I'm gonna do next to really like bring something together. Working through challenges, for instance, if someone kind of barges in on you, when you're in the middle of like a really amazing creative breakthrough, and I was stopped. So you have to really like keep the creativity flowing and not let little challenges or even naysayers get in your way, because sometimes what's represented there when that happens is in one way or another, whether people realize it or not, maybe like you being really creative is making someone either embrace that about themselves or making someone feel a little insecure about it. And even if you're like a kid, then same thing, like maybe you're a really creative person, and so that's going to be treated differently than someone who is still creative in some ways. I mean, everyone creates things, you math problems, you solve them, there's some creativity to that. But, I guess I'm talking specifically about art related things, and that kind of creativity there. So, those are creative blocks, and working through them, sometimes it's a really long process. I mean, if you get like going with something else in your life, maybe you're told as a kid, you shouldn't get into art, or for whatever reason you have some like major block to your creativity, and you might not realize that it really affects you, like that it really kind of sits there in your consciousness until you address it. And so you might do some art or something along the way, but if there's something at some point something that you believed about yourself, or for some reason you think that your art isn't like worthwhile to pursue, which comes up a lot too, you can kind of almost like block yourself a bit from it. And maybe you can channel, so to speak, your creative energy into other things. Again, it could even be something more like logical, and that might be balanced for you. It could be that that's actually positive, but it can also be that you're trying to like force your creativity to like, maybe into design work or something that is pretty like known for being creative, like say graphic design, but it's not really like it's just not quite you, you know? You can do it, but maybe you're not as successful with it, or maybe you are, but it really like crunches you. So sometimes it's just pivoting a little bit, and sometimes it's also accepting that maybe that's like not your main form of creativity, and you really want to cultivate something that's just more in alignment with, like, you can kind of tell when you're in that creative flow. Could be cooking too, and that's a really good example because we all cook. Even if you put something in the microwave, and that's some little tiny form of cooking. Same thing with other creative stuff, you know, even if you're handwriting something, there's a little bit of creativity in that. So just like paying attention to when you're in the flow is really helpful, and giving yourself lots of space. Like maybe you don't draw anything for years and you are doing graphic design or something instead, and you go back to it and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this, and people want that from you. So there's a really good match there too, of course, when you do something that you are willing to share and people also like want that from you, maybe like, you know, in terms of business or you know, just friends and family, what have you. But there's something like that you can give that like is being well received, and that's always encouraging, I think, to really keep going. And then, you know, how to build momentum with that and keep it going is really just like day by day. And it doesn't mean setting aside time. I mean, I can say that, and that can be good advice, but it's not always great to set aside time every single day to be creative if that's not working for you. If that kind of discipline is something that's like not, again, like crunching at you too much, that could be a really good way to go about it. Just spend a few minutes a day on a drawing, even if it's just a line or two, even if you don't like it, even if it's just copying a cartoon of something. And there's a lot of pleasure in that a lot of the time, and just like creating or recreating something just at your own pace. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to like discard stuff that just like you don't want to do anymore. That was one of my big blocks like growing up, is I always kind of had this thought that I had to like finish things, and I don't know exactly where that came from. But once I got over that, like I could do a lot more with my art, because like sometimes I make something and I don't want to finish it. Like and there's no reason you have to. And I've talked to a lot of clients and students and just people, whatever, artists that experience the same thing. So it's really great awareness to have that, like it doesn't mean don't finish anything. It's really also nice to challenge yourself to finish, you know, at least something, you know, bring it to a point of like, hey, this looks polished, I like it. But that might take more doing than you realize, and that's okay, and it might come easily to you. So it's just something that you really want to be honest with yourself about, like what you have the energy to do without like forcing yourself, and really like what feels empowering to you versus what feels like forced. So those are some things that are going to help to unblock you from your creative flow. And if you would like to schedule art lessons with me, I do those online virtually, so like anywhere, and you can check out my website, aldynelizabeth.com. It should be linked down below too. And I also do other kinds of art events locally here in Southern California, and virtually, so like sip and paints, corporate events, stuff like that. And I also do some commissions. So yeah, you can check all of that out and reach out if you have any questions. And I work with all ages, like even pre-K, mostly in person, with really young, but even some kids really enjoy the online lessons. So that through adult and all levels, too. I've worked again with toddlers, with great professional artists, and we're at whatever level you're at. I would just be happy to help you in supporting your creativity. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you would like to support me and my channel. And I hope you have a wonderful time creating. See you in the next one. Bye.